Geraldine Pittman Woods, Black Embryologist. Geraldine Pittman Woods had a rather brief career as a scientist. It is her actions as an administrator directing the actions of the federal government towards improving the research capabilities of minority institutions and the educational opportunities for minority students for which she is best known. Geraldine Pittman was born on January 29th, 1921, in West Palm Beach, Florida. Her parents, Susie King Pittman and Oscar Pittman, were comfortably established in the farming and lumber industries of Central Florida and also owned several properties in West Palm Beach. Jerry began her schooling at a private Episcopal school, but in the fourth grade transferred to Industrial High School. At that time, the school was the only public school in West Palm Beach that allowed African American students. Jerry was not an outstanding student in these early years and occasionally required tutors to keep her from falling behind her classes. Despite an early interest in science, she received little encouragement from her teachers and or family, who did not consider science a realistic career choice for an African American woman. Jerry led a comfortable but busy life through grade and high school. She participated in church activities, learned to play the piano, and was an avid reader. The relatively carefree life of a Palm Beach teenager was, however, saddened by the death of her father. After graduating from Industrial High School in 1938, Pittman attended Talladega College in Talladega, Alabama. The college had been established to serve the African American community and provided an environment not much different from her high school. Uninspired, Pittman made only mediocre progress. In 1940, her mother became seriously ill and was admitted to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. Pittman left Talladega at this time, transferring to Howard University in Washington, D.C., to be closer to her mother. At Howard, she concentrated much harder on her studies, perhaps because of a concern for her mother's health. The faculty at Howard were impressed by Pittman's performance and supportive of her interest in science. One professor, in particular, Dr. Louis Hansborough, in the Department of Biology and Zoology, was instrumental in her decision to apply to and her acceptance in the graduate biology program at Radcliffe College and Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Fortunately, her mother recovered from her illness, and Pittman moved to Cambridge to join top students from throughout the country. It was a great challenge for her to compete with these students, most of whom came from much stronger academic backgrounds. Still, Pittman was totally committed to excelling at Harvard and became so focused on her work that she earned 2 graduate degrees in only 3 years and was elected to Phi Beta Kappa, the National Scholastic Honor Society. Pittman's doctoral research involved studying the development of nerves in the spinal cord. In the early stages of the development of embryos, the cells that will become nerves are not much different from all the other cells. As the embryo grows, however, the cells become differentiated. Pittman hoped to determine whether this process was controlled by factors within the cell itself or by stimulation from other adjacent cells. She discovered that both effects are important, and also that the number of nerve cells produced is at least partly dependent on the number of muscle cells present. Pittman returned to Howard University as an instructor after receiving her doctorate from Harvard in 1945. Shortly thereafter, she married Robert Woods, a student of dentistry at Meharry Medical School in Tennessee. The two commuted between Washington, D.C. and Nashville until Robert graduated. They then moved to California, where Robert Woods set up a dental practice. Geraldine Pittman Woods temporarily put aside her career to raise a family. Years later, when all 3 of her children were teenagers, Woods began the administrative career which was to yield some of her most important accomplishments. At first, she volunteered for local social services and civil rights organizations near Los Angeles, then branched out to statewide activities. Her strong support and advocacy of minority interests earned her an invitation to the White House in 1965, where she helped to launch Project Head Start, a federal program established to help children from low-income families gain preschool experience. Woods continued her activism through serving on governing boards for many institutes of higher education, philanthropic organizations, and government bodies. Her main goal was to establish programs to get minority students, professors, and institutions involved in research training. In 1969, she was asked to be a special consultant at the National Institute of Health, where she helped develop the Minority Biomedical Research Support Program and the Minority Access to Research Careers Program. The MBRS program helped minority institutions to better compete for government and philanthropic grants by giving the applicants an understanding of the requirements and organization of grant proposals. Woods herself traveled throughout the country to give seminars at minority institutions on the preparation of grant applications, and gradually the rate of grant approvals at these institutions improved. The MARC program was designed to increase the recruitment and retention of minority students in scientific fields. Not only did this program establish scholarships for students at all levels of higher education, but it also provided funding for visiting scholar programs. These programs enabled faculty members from minority institutions to work with colleagues at some of the nation's most prestigious universities and led to an overall improvement in teaching quality. Woods is now retired from her position with the National Institute of Health. Her accomplishments have directly led to an increase in the number of professors involved in scientific research training at minority institutions, and an increase in the number of minority students able to enter graduate and professional schools. Her tireless efforts in support of minority interests have helped countless numbers of budding scientists realize their goals. Citations are in the description.